So it'll be quite obvious that both Gnostic and Myth are sophists in this video. And the reason why I can go and discuss it like this and call them this is because this guy has called me repeatedly a sophist. So he's going to get the reverse back on him. And we're going to show you based upon a simple question, what is a sindon or sindona? So first, what's a sophist exactly? So sophistry involves the art of misdirection. Okay, why do they do it? To make money. To make money. Now, do I make money off my videos? No. Do I sell books, mugs, T-shirts, or anything? No. Although the commercials are on my site, but I didn't sign because none of my channels are monetized. Ever, ever, ever. So these guys make money doing their deal. So let's look at why it is that people don't know these guys are sophists. They're successful because look at this. It's terrifying. 52% of US adults can perform basic tasks, but many struggle with complex texts and texts with distractions like the Bible. And 63% may have difficulty interpreting simple numerical data. Perfect for sophists to roll in and do their thing, right? Very, very straightforward. Now, here's how you know Neil is a sophist. He called me a sophist. And this is from my video that I did. I forget which one. You can look at it. But anyway, this is the first one. Oh, yes, the first one. It was about MythVision and Gnostic Informant in terms of the neoniskos. And look what Cross Bible said. Seaman is correct. All Seaman did was cite Gnostic and carrier. Like I don't care how old the dude is. He can be 40 if you want. He's 40, and Neil is so surprised. I mean, I don't know why he's surprised, right? 29. I got 29 references showing that he's 15 to 30, and here he is showing the witch doctor that the dude's 28 according to the corpus. So fine, he's 28. 28, no problem. So what should Neil have done? He should have kept his mouth shut, right? Because I didn't disagree with the age, and he went off on that. Now, just so that you know, so this is, what is this, September or something or other? So September 2025. So how long have I been looking at this and showing the ages and things? So this goes back to, these were my first 3 videos that I put up there. And this one right here was a lesson for Myth and Kip. Weird how that happened. Here we go. Myth and Kip. Did I get my pointer thing? Okay, sorry about that. Myth and Kip. So this was 8 months ago. It was back January. What's the date? January 6th. I dropped these 3. These are the first 3. So Hillman says, it was 9 months ago, right? January 6th. This is like a month after, so I guess Hillman watched it. Best 13 minutes I've seen from anyone. Okay. So now look what he says here. Epigumno would be translated as on his private parts anywhere else. That's what Hillman has in writing. Okay. So I said, thank you. So I said, you should consider doing a direct Galen translation of this as a show focus because otherwise it appears, what appears, private parts, as in the purple pecker, is your opinion. That was back in February that I made that recommendation to Hillman, right? So if I made that recommendation to Hillman, right, I'm just looking at evidence. I mean, compared to what the Gnostic Grifter says when he was talking to, I guess it was, what's his name? Witch doctor? I only go for the references or the sources. No, he doesn't. He doesn't understand sources. So you can clearly see that I am simply looking at this from a scientific perspective. Yes, there's something going on. The text tells me that it's this, and I'll show you in a second why I think that is, but I don't care. So it really ranges from here to here, really from like a towel around the waist to a Hare Krishna sheet around him as he's running away from the feds. That's what it appears like. So what is this sindon, this sindona? They'll show you in a second. So here's the issue for these guys. Basically, this whole Bible hyperstitious state that we're in with the whole Gomerization of the world without knowing it, big old egregore. So here is Bart Ehrman debating this dude here. So they're going back and forth. Now, the only difference really is that this guy believes the only thing in the Bible is beautiful Jesus, nothing potentially bad. And he believes every bit of it to be true. Now, Bart Ehrman and Gnostic and the rest of the guys, it seems, believe the same thing. It's just beautiful. It's just that they no longer think it's real, right? They think it's a fairy tale, but they think it's a beautiful fairy tale. And the fact that there is a potential purple pecker freaks them out. Now, I don't know if there's a purple pecker or not because I don't really care. See, I don't care if there's a purple pecker or not. So we're giving the purple pecker away. We're waiting for Hillman to provide the references, which he hasn't done yet. And we're going to go with, this is where he called me a sophist, like backed into the corner. Yeah, you moron, you are in a corner. So he's not a little kid with a purple pecker. He's a bearded man with secondary sexual characteristics in place, running away. How? So this is the language. I'll show you the whole thing again. This is from Mark 14:51. The sindona is epigumno. What is epigumno? This is from the Interlinear Bible. You go right to it, you hover over, you can press on the word gumno, and it tells you what it means. Rarely stark naked, meaning there's something around him. Generally what? Wearing only an undergarment. That's why I went with like a towel around the waist, like at a gym class in the old days, from my old days, back in the 70s. And then you can see, how does he look? Well, it's bare, open, manifest. Well, clearly he is bare, open, and manifest here. They're just saying he's got secondary sexual characteristics, and Hillman said there's a purple pecker. Either way, there's a dude who is bare, open, and manifest, wearing only a sindona. So, here is an example of their sophistry. You can see here the nude. This is the Interlinear Bible word, not mine. Nude, neonisko. In Mark 14 has a sindona, a linen cloth, cast about his naked body in a fashion similar to a small or large towel that one cast about their body after coming out of a pool, ocean, whatever it is. That's what it looks like, right? Get that towel around you. Oh, I'm freezing. That's what it looks like. And this picture has been present for anyone to criticize under the title of a naked fugitive in Wikipedia forever until Hillman said the pecker is purple. And then these guys went full sophist, full Tropic Thunder, as you'll see. So this is coming from Myth Kip Dennis McDonald. I think that's his name, right? The nude neoniskos in Mark 14:51 is not wearing what is this? Oh, I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this. The nude neoniskos in Mark 14:51 was not wearing a stolen. What's a stolen? Well, a stolen is a uniform, as in Mark 16. So the neoniskos in the tomb, the word there is stolen. I'll show you at the end of this video. Stolen. So it's a uniform. He wasn't wearing just a towel or a God darn it. He wasn't wearing a Hare Krishna blanket around him. He was wearing. I mean, that's what he was wearing. He wasn't wearing a friggin' suit. And Dennis McDonald says, "Oh wait, it's the garment of Christ." That's what these guys said. So it's not a uniform. It's not a garment of Christ. And we can go down here. It's not an enduma. Now, enduma is the closest word I was able to find looking around that refers to, and I'll show you later, shroud, garment, clothing, apparel. So if you look under enduma in the Interlinear Bible, you'll see this. And you'll see it online too. So you see, this is clothing. This is just cloth. This is cloth that makes apparel, right? Now, this is what Richard Carrier said. The nude neoniskos in Mark 14:51 is not, well, I'm telling you, Carrier says he's wearing, see, I got this weird. I'm not going to restart because I don't really want to restart any of this shit. So I'm telling Carrier, the nude neoniskos in Mark 14:51 is, come on, what the hell, is not wearing a tunic, as in Mark 5:40. So we can see Mark 5:40, there is a tunic being worn. The word tunic is not here. The word enduma is not here. And the word stolen is not there. What word is there? Sindona. And what is sindona? It's a cloth that is the size of a napkin or a ship sail. Well, this could be the size of a gym towel or the size of a Hare Krishna colored linen cloth draped around him as he's running away from the feds. And they cannot take this. So why would these scholars, and this guy who thinks he's a historian, why would they use words that are totally different? It says sindona, which is cloth. It does not say stolen, tunic, or enduma, which are pieces of clothing. They are actual garments. A linen cloth is not a garment. Do you see who the sophists are? Very obvious. These guys are friggin' sophists. It's unbelievable. It's terrifying. They are the hamartoloi. Look at this. They're liars. And they won't stop. I showed you. How long ago did I put up that first video showing who the neoniskos and the rest were? That was a year ago. And I've showed again and again and again. And they just, look what they're doing now. Now they call me a sophist. These guys are liars. They're lying about the sindona, right? So in this video, if you look right here, you say sindona is a linen cloth. If that's your position and not this, well, then you are clearly dikaios on that one. So we are the dikaios in this video against these fucking hamartoloi. And they are hamartoloi. That is for sure. So as we move on here, I'm going to show you guys how to mess with these guys with their own book. So you Lady Babyloners got to chill on this one, because you're so crazy about the purple pecker. You're crazy about the friggin' purple pecker. So let's just look at this from the perspective that I'm taking. I am not trapped in the Bible egregore as Gnostic, myth, and their fellow sophists. They take the book as seriously as believers, maybe more. But to me, it's just a story like the Bhagavad Gita. That's it. They didn't happen, but do provide us with useful information. So neither book happened. There's no blue Krishna floating down. This never happened. But they do provide us with useful information, as I will show you, in the context of dealing with the egregore. So we've got to give up the idea. So you Lady Babyloner folks, you got to chill on how you hate Jesus, okay? Because just think of it like this. Think of it like this. There are no words at all being spoken here right now. If I was just to show you this right now, wouldn't you agree that Thomas Jefferson and Thomas Paine would tell us to be, because they're all about morality, be guileless, pure in heart, unselfish, don't be materialist. Of course they would say that. And any normal person with ethics would say that too. So in our current egregore, which you can look at it as a stage set. We're going to look at it from a stage set perspective in a couple seconds. So you got good versus evil. Isn't that what it even says, right? Like in the Bible, in the beginning of the Bible. That's also what we're shown in the Gita. How did that happen there? Oh yeah, in the Gita. So here is Krishna, who is only slightly blue, versus Arjuna, showing him good and evil. And the idea is to go good, right? Favor the good, not the evil. So in the Bible, there is evil and there is good. I don't know why they just can't look at it from that perspective and think of it that way, as opposed to being so weird with the religious nonsense. So we're even told this in the Bible itself. Now look how interesting this is. So this is the Emperor's New Clothes Blowhard King James version. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open. So this is the serpent telling Eve, if you eat the fruit, your eyes will be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. That's what the serpent says. So let's just change this, right? For God, so for evil Yahweh, whatever, the slave master in the garden. So he knows that the day you eat the fruit, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall know good and evil. Well, don't we know good and evil? When we leave our little gardens of Eden as little 5-year-old kids, totally innocent, hopefully you're innocent until that point and guileless and honest. You leave the garden, and then all of a sudden you learn about good and evil once you get to school and all the mean kids and all that stuff, right? And then you know. So why can't you just look at it like that, as opposed to actually believing this fucking book is literally real, which these sophists, which is what they promote with their absolute insane defense that this guy couldn't have had some nakedness, legitimate physical nakedness going on in the story that never happened anyway. So what we're going to do in this video, because these guys are the sophists, we're going to show them what happens when they disobey the yoke, and then the female-breasted, sword-wielding Jesus shows up in Revelation 3:18 and takes them out. So we're going to do this video to take out these sophists. We're going to use the Bible to take the sophists out. So what's the most important thing to understand about this? So the Cross Bible guy said Seaman cited you. He cited you, carrier. So I didn't, right, so he's calling me a sophist for citing him. That's how confused this guy is. So this guy bore false witness. You, sir, will be judged as you have judged others on earth as it is in heaven. Remember that? So this is going to happen to you right now, boys. You guys have perhaps never embraced the yoke. That's very possible. Remember, they are hamartoloi. So they are hamartoloi, and they avoid the yoke, and they go after petty little bullshit words here and there, not right. It's just disgusting what these guys do. So we're going to bring the thunder upon you guys. So here's the first false prophet that I want to introduce you to. So this is Billy Graham telling the world, you cannot change yourself. Really? So this is why Christians think the soul or true self is weak. But Jesus says, unless you change and become like guileless little children, you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven. So this whole thing for these guys is about entering the kingdom of heaven because they're terrified that they just got one shot. Well, we're going to change that because this is, hey, I can do what I want. These guys make up all kinds of bullshit. So I'm going to put this into context. So imagine that this is true for a second. So whether you're an atheist or whatever, who cares? This is just a way to look at this. So imagine that this is true. But the problem is, what context do we look at this in? In the big black hole of whatever universe we think the universe is in our minds. We need to anchor this somehow. We need to anchor it. So we're going to anchor it in the context of a scientific view of simulation theory. We're going to use Jason of Archaics. Now, is he right? I don't know. I'm not saying he is. We're just going to anchor it. And we're anchoring with him because, look, pre-Adamic, antediluvian, and classical period, ancient world, classical period, classical to modern world, all that kind of stuff. So the guy thinks that, and I know this is not the exact right amount of years, but I think it's like roughly every 7,000 years, the Earth construct that we are in, not a big bang, not a big slime creation, and not a Bible creation. It's a construct. Every 7,000 years, he thinks it reboots, and he thinks the reboot is coming sometime between 2040, I think like 2178. He thinks that the next big Phoenix devastation event on Earth, like when the moon, like Matthew 24 stuff, where the sun goes dark and the moon goes red, or whatever the hell that is. Now, if that isn't the right language, it doesn't make any difference. I'm just showing you the date. So he thinks that's 2040, and he thinks 2178 is when the reboot happens. And the idea in his mind is that if you don't get your shit right, you go back to the start and you stay in the construct for another 7,000 years. I think that's his position. If it's not, it doesn't make any difference. The point is that his take is that in order to escape the construct, you got to do this. Enough to escape the construct. You cannot be a hamartoloi and escape the construct. So that's his view. Now, it's not a one-shot deal because he thinks that we cycle in and out of the construct all the time through reincarnation events. And it was actually through him when he said, oh, yes, all the time. Like, get out. So that's when I found the University of Virginia about 2 years ago. So we're giving a nod to just to put a timeline in here so we can orient ourselves, because the human mind, when we are in human minds, the human mind likes constructs, like organization, likes things that we can look at and break apart for our third dimensional mind. But we're not going to just leave it with this. We're going to add more to. I think perhaps I can do what I want, right? It's my video. So imagine for a moment that our construct, or stage set Earth, as I call it, is a Bible. So that's Bible, ion, which is Greek, Gita, continuum. So I'm going to use all four views in this video and say that we're going to put this into Brashear's 7,000-year cycle. So here we go. We have 7,000 years. Take ourselves from being a little turd Atman to being a better Atman and escape into Idios. And if we don't, back to the beginning. is kind of Jason's viewpoint. I think it's just a continuum. I don't think you reboot like this in his fashion, but whatever. I don't know. So what is the ion? Because Hillman talks about ionic life, and if you do that near the death-inducing thanasimon, you go into the ion. I think he's wrong there, and the reason why is because of what it says right in the LSJ. So here is a picture of ion from Wikipedia. This is Gaia. This is Mother Earth. So this is Earth time. This is the zodiac. This is Ion. Some places they call them Chronos, like Chronos, Sun, Ion. Doesn't make any difference. So, well, the zodiac is Earth time. Mother Earth, Gaia is Earth. We go right to Perseus, the LSJ lexicon. What's Ion? One's lifetime, an age, a generation, a long space of time, like 7,000 years, a definite space of time. Era, epoch, age, period of time. This down here that you see, this is the 24,000 ascending and descending yuga cycle of the Hindus, or the rishis. Is that true? I don't know. I'm just giving some orientation to this to show that there's lots of ways to look at this thing in a similar fashion, because we know from the Bible, Jesus said you got to be like, here we are, guileless, no guile children, otherwise you don't get into heaven. And the same thing that we are told in the Gita and the Upanishads. And that is why, if you want to get into Brahman, you got to be like what Jesus says in the yoke. That's pretty much, and these guys are not yoking it at all. They are not yoking it at all. So we're going to show them what Jesus is going to do to him when he comes back and roast their ass. Okay, so we are in the continuum. So now, of course, we're running blind in the continuum. We don't know what the fuck's going on, right? So we got books. So here's what I want you to think about. Imagine that stage set Earth right now in the current ion, the current age, is the Holy Bible stage set. Think about how possessed people. The book is everywhere. There are more Africans. I think the population of Christians in the world, like maybe 30 or 40% are Europeans. Most are Middle Eastern and African, I think. So this Bible is like, the book of the Ion with little backdrop books. The next in line would be the Gita. This is probably the second most read of all the religious texts. And the Gita is based upon the Upanishads. So imagine that we are living out a Bible stage set right now in the Ion. Because remember, Jesus said, I'm going to take over the Ion in Revelation 1:18 anyway. And I got Hades in a bag also. So if you're in the Ion and there's this Bible, well, who did Jesus come to? He came for the hamartoloi. And these hamartoloi are the ones running around telling people they're going to go to hell. It's unbelievable how backwards the situation is. So this is my recommendation to the boys over at MythVision. You guys need to understand that Jesus said that you need to become innocent, guileless like children, pure in heart, unselfish, and non-materialist. Now, I think you guys should start to think about looking at the Yoke of Jesus in the context of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Why? Because you make a moral inventory. You admit wrongdoing. You guys are full of shit. Unbelievable. You can't even be honest about the word sindona. It's disgusting. So, these guys need to do more than just the golden rule, right? Although we should appreciate, even though I'm focusing on like the Bible as like the book of this Ion, because it's the most well-known. It's in every hotel, wherever the Gideons got to. But underlying every religion there is, in some fashion, they all do the golden rule. So if you're an atheist and you're honest and having fun while you're doing the golden rule, you should be able to get through the Ion and theoretically leave if that's how it works. I don't know. Nobody does. It makes no sense to know for sure, because then it would be easy to work through life here. But here's what we know for absolutely sure that I can tell you is in the current scientific literature. This was from back on January 10th. And I put this here to let these idiots know that I've been suggesting to you friggin' hamartoloi for 9 months to stop being hamartoloi. So this is what we know from the Yale Baby Lab. That we come in literally like with perfect morality, spontaneously help others, even at external cost to ourselves. No original sin initially, just original perfection, and then we get unyoked, right? We naturally are yoked until we enter the world of temptation and become unyoked. This is amazing. 5 years of age and younger, we are basically all at imagination genius levels before we become unyoked by temptation. Isn't that incredible? Scary, very scary, which is why these evildoers, these hamartoloi at MythVision and the Gnostic Informant buddies, sorry Gnostic, but you really shouldn't have, went full. Well, it's good that you did, because now you know what a sophist you really are. So, you will be judged as you have judged others on earth as it is in heaven. Now think of it, this gentleman. A lot of these people are like, see, I'm turning the Bible on you. Now you have however many people I watched this video, 500, 200, 500,000 or more. They're all witnesses to you. So when you have your life reviews, when you die, when your current turd machine dies, you're going to witness this. You should check out life reviews, and you will see that that is what happens. We should take this shit seriously. We should take this shit seriously. You guys should take very seriously what you are. You guys are sophists. Misdirection for money. And who are at risk of following you? Well, more than half of the people in America lack the ability to really work through much of what's in the Bible because of their lack of, their laziness, lazy. So these sophists take advantage of these lazy characters. So back a year ago, I created this image, and I showed it many times to demonstrate what a Christing is versus an alephaning or lepsosoning or a morizo. So why don't they know this? Why don't you know this if you've gotten this far in this video? Yeah, because of this situation. So you trust sophists as opposed to what the book itself says. And because you trust sophists, these morons who go after me don't realize that these are the sophists and I'm just citing what's in the book itself. You find one video by these friggin' sophists that's this detailed, and there, of course, will not be one. So let's get right to the juice here, baby. Here is Mark 14:51. We've got the neoniskos, who is sun akaluthe, wearing what? Sindona. We are focusing on sindona. So here you hit gumno. If you press on gumno with your cursor online, it lights up. The dude is nude. He's bare. Jeez, he's bare, open, manifest, like the picture shows, right? Like that picture shows. He is not stark naked. He is undergarment wearing only, looking. That's the appearance in the interlinear Bible that these guys have never shown. Well, why? Because now it shows you. Bare, open, manifest. The dude's not wearing a garment like these clowns say he is. They are liars. They are liars. They are lying about what a sindon is. This is a sindon. You take sindon and go into Perseus. It can be as small as, come on, stupid things. It can be as small as a napkin and as large as a ship's sail. Small as a napkin, as large as a ship's sail. So let's go over to the actual. I'm going to click on sindona. We get to the sindona. We can see it shows up 6 times, the sindona. You can see, what's the sindona in Mark 14:51? Linen sheet, linen cloth, sheet, cloth, sheet. So cloths and sheets, they are used to make clothing. What else are we told about the sindon when we go to Perseus? It is fine cloth. It can be made into a ship's sail or clothes, or it can be used as bandages. So it can be very, very small, very, very large. If you're a 5'8" dude, you're going to be wearing a gym towel or a Hare Krishna orange sheet around you as you run away from the feds. But you're definitely nude, according to the interlinear Bible that these guys are afraid of. Here we are again, nude. See, Gnostic, nude, nude, bare, open, manifest. The bush is exposed. The full bush is exposed versus the purple pecker is exposed. These guys can't take that. So what we're looking at here, and this is where it's going to get a little bit of witnessing on these boys. So this is physical nakedness. It's really amazing when you listen to some of these idiots talk about this. They think this is some metaphorical nakedness, not a physical nakedness. Like this is just some kind of like shame thing. Not even close. Not even close. Here is the difference between physical nakedness and not physical nakedness. So where else do we find out about physical nakedness or metaphysical nakedness in the Bible? Well, it is when Jesus shows up. It's when Jesus shows up in Revelation 3. He shows up in Revelation 3, and that's when we find out who's in trouble. And these guys are in trouble. So, Revelation 3:15, I know your works. Gnostic, we know your works, Gnostic. We are witnesses to you, Gnostic. We know your works. You are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. Now, of course, your nakedness is metaphorical nakedness. And if we just go online and look up, what metaphorical nakedness means, it means spiritual poverty. It means spiritual poverty. You have poverty. Where else do we see poverty show up? Well, not here, but Jesus tells us to become guileless, pure in heart, and unselfish. Where does poverty show up? Gospel of Thomas. When you come to know yourselves as the true self, not the turd machine, then you will become known and you'll realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. But if you do not know yourselves, you will dwell in poverty. The false self, believing you're that friggin' turd machine, and it is you who are that poverty. So if you want to change that, you friggin' hamartoloi, sophist, you should do what Jesus says you should do. Now again, I've been putting this out for how long now, these exact words. Never saying, right? So, hey, I don't care if there's a purple hoo-ha or not, because the words are the words, and you guys have denied the good words. You have absolutely done this to yourselves. It's disgusting. Let's look at how they've done this. So we're going to go away from the metaphorical nakedness. We're going to look at the actual words. So this is the enduma. A sindona is not a garment. An enduma is a garment. This is enduma. You can see enduma, garment. Why is it not garment in Mark 14:51? Why didn't it say enduma? Why did it say sindona? Because sindona is cloth, enduma is clothing. What about chiton or chiton? Was it chiton with the chi? So this is the word for tunic. A sindona is not a tunic. Why would they not put sindona here? Or why would they not put the chiton, however you say it, where sindona was? Because sindona is cloth, tunic is clothing. Unbelievable. So 11 occurrences of tunic. You can see tunic again. This goes right to Perseus. Tunic. It's a tunic. Do I have it back here with the M? Here. So I forgot to show you. This is the one that Kip Davis says it's a what do you call it? A burial shroud. Now he didn't say enduma, but I looked around and the closest thing I got to burial shroud I could find in some searches was that enduma. And again, you can see enduma is a garment. To clothes, to put on, clothing, not cloth. Totally different. Same thing for chiton, not cloth. What about this one? This is the one where they did the symbolizing, sophistizing, bullshitting when Myth and Kip and McDonald equated the neoniskos in 14 and 16 and the garment of Christ in Galatians. It's unbelievable. So it's called a stolen. This is, you'll see what stolen is a military, basically a regiment. You see it's military. So a sindona is not a stolen. A sindona is linen cloth that can be made into a uniform or stolen. Yeah, a stolen is a uniform. You want to see how much so? Equipment, armament, a piece of dress, Hercules. It's a uniform. So the neoniskos was wearing what? A sindona, a bit of cloth, or either a towel size or a blanket size around him that fell away easily. It was not a stolen. It was not a tunic. It was not an enduma. You can see who the sophists are. You can see who the sophists are and who is in spiritual poverty right now. You know it's these hamartoloi. So why don't you hamartoloi just do what Jesus said and become guileless, pure in heart, unselfish, passer passers-by, non-materialists. That would be the best thing you guys could do right now for yourselves.